In the past, we organized several QA talks about QA tools and QA processes, and we are planning to organize more sessions in future as well. In today's QA talk, going to present by Priyani. She's a senior engineer at Creative Software. Regarding this session, while she's doing her presentation, you might get some questions. Please feel free to ask any questions, and also there will be another time slot to ask your questions. You can ask question in that time slot as well. Also, please remember to mute your mic when you are not talking. Yeah, over to you, Priyani.
Okay, thank you, Lakmal. So, good evening, all. So, welcome to Creative QA Talk. So, today I'm going to talk about something not only related to QA department, and it also involving it also affecting for the entire team who are involved in development software. So nowadays we can see a lot of agile processes are practicing our software companies. So a few years ago, we can see some DevOps are there. So after that, CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment. So now, what's common to all of these practices? It's focusing on smaller development, smaller increments to order to enable very rapid changes, and it focusing a lot of internal organization, a lot of internal communication in the organization, and a lot about early validation of the software. So before going to talk about what is shift left testing, so I'm going to show some circle how they deliver their profiles, how they deliver their software to the customer. So in here you can see there are 4 kind of organizational models are there within their delivery percentages. So first one, we can see 35% of organizations still they are releasing over 6 months and once every year. So the customer have to wait more than 6 months to gain that delivery from the software organization. And second one, we can see 40% of companies they are releasing once every 2 or 3 months. And third one, we can see they are releasing only 2 or 3 weeks. And final one is the major valuable deliveries. So we can see they able to deliver some deliveries within few times a day and within every hour. So whenever organization, so we are able to full transition to full automation process, then we can release in very frequently, and they decide to whenever a change is committed and it is passing all the gates of the quality gates, it will automatically push to the customer. So these are the different kind of deliveries we can see with the current society. So now we move to the what is shift left testing. If you have any idea, you can say this the time you can see what is shift left testing. So actually, simply we can see shift left testing is like a start in testing as soon as you are starting development. So this picture we can get lot idea about what is shift left testing. So you can see that testing is moved to the left side of the development life cycle. So even we are doing testing in production, deployment, every building, and we have to move that testing into the code level. And actually not in only for code level, but also we have to do some reviewing, validation in requirement gathering phase too. Because while we are doing that validation, reviewing, when we in requirement gathering phase, we can sort out a lot of issues when it comes before to the testing, like testing phases. So the first thing, we have to shift our testing into the left. So it called as shift left. Not only shift left consider about these testing, and also there are some kind of things we have to shift. So first thing is shift in mindset. What is mean by shift in mindset? So you all know, normally people think QA department, it means quality assurance person, should be the responsible for the quality of the product. Actually, he is not the only person, guarantee is not the only person for the responsible for the quality of the product. So as a developer, as a BA, as a product owner, all people should act as a quality gate. So I am the person to respond for that quality. So that kind of things, we have to set our mindset to I am the quality gate for that product. So that called as shift in mindset. Third one is shift in responsibility. So you know, developers thinking I am responsible for the coding only. So I am not responsible for the quality of the product. But they think QA department is the responsible for, so that's why they gave salary. So we don't need to consider about quality of the product. Actually, developer also should be responsible for the quality of the product. So in shift left testing, they are thinking quality assurance engineers, same as developers, also involving quality of the product while in coding phases. And fourth one, we can say shift in organization. Normally, shift in organization means, all our companies have so many manual testers. Only few of them are doing some automation testing. So if we are going to practice in shift left testing, so we have to reduce our manual testers, and we have to acquire more quality engineers. It means more testing engineers with shift left testing. Otherwise, we cannot achieve shift left testing with this process. So now I'm going to talk about what is the difference between traditional versus shift left model while we are doing testing phases. So in this picture, you can see in traditional method, they are focusing their attention for quality while doing testing to monitor and analyze phases. So this is the peak time they are doing testing. So they haven't time to improve the quality, improve the standard for the testing. So they haven't time. But you can see in shift left testing, they are initialize the testing while we are doing planning and designing. So then they are discussing what are the gap between requirements and what are the designing errors. So all the things they can discuss while doing planning and developing building stages. So if we already sort out our issues while in planning and designing and development and building phases, then we have more time to until that product goes to the production. So that time we can use for our code level improvement and code based quality. We can achieve our coding standards. So testers and other teams has more time this time. So then they can test in relaxing. So but in traditionally, they are very tension time this time. So they haven't time to think about what is the actual business scenarios. They just want to check and fix those issues. So if found so many bugs in there, so developers, BA, and all the team members will be busy. So what are the importance of early testing? So I think you already get some idea importance of the testing. So as I mentioned earlier, if we are doing testing with coding level, so we can identify around 85% of issues. And also it will easy to fix those issues because that time that the services working as a microservices, so then not affect for other services. So if we are doing testing after in deployment stages, so all the microservices are connected, so we cannot say only this area will affected with this issue. So we have to test and cover all the areas, what are the areas have to be affected with this issue. But if we are doing initial stage testing, we can fix issues as soon as possible, and it also be time saving, and also we can improve our quality of the product, and also that time we can reduce our patches of the software. It means only that time happen only refactoring. So it means if we are doing testing in coding phases, so that time we can reduce the patches, only we can add in some refactoring things to the code. So now I'm going to talk about something difference between waterfall, agile and shift left. Before coming to the shift left, we have some agile practices with our software industry. So in here, I'm going to describe different organizations. So how aspect of the different type of organization. And first organization, waterfall organization. Then we have an organization. This is early stages of adapting agile. And in waterfall, we can see mostly manual testing they are focusing, and also regression testing. You know, regression testing means, so they are checking all versions. It's working with the after with the new features. So, and implementing agile, they are focusing, they are try to achieve some goal as a goal as test automation. And in the waterfall, we can see mostly manual testers are doing testing, and implementing agile, we can see test automation also there. But both waterfall and implementing agile, that responsibility of the quality will goes to the QA team. But in shift left testing, we can see developers also measure as a accountable for the quality. So, and when we consider about automation coverage in shift left testing, they are focusing around 90% of automation, and implementing agile, they are normally covered around 50, but unfortunately in waterfall testing, they cannot exceed around 10% of the automation coverage. So when we talk about time to feedback, so in waterfall testing, developers have to get some feedback from the testers. They have to wait some kind of months, like 2 months, 1 month, maybe they have to wait. But in implementing agile, we can get idea and we can get a feedback within days. But fortunately, we get a quick response and quick feedback within minutes in shift left testing if we are practicing. And not only those things, but also there are some things we have to think. So let's talk about implications of the waterfall testing. So that the waterfall testing is a time consuming like bottleneck. So, and implementing agile also, they have to waste the time to fixing bugs and identify the bugs and fixing broken testing. So all those things they have to consider. But in shift left testing, developers also consider about automation things. They also interact with the automation things. And when we talk about testing frequency and timing, so we can see between weeks, days in shift left organization, it is a pre-committed. So if let's say I am the developer, so for that project, so I am committing my changes into the branch. So after committing my changes into the branch, then the branch is tested with the unit testing, and after finished and it successfully pass without any errors, then we can push to the master branch. This call as committed with shift left testing. So now I think we have idea difference between their testing approaches, and now I'm going to do some comparison between different kind of organization, different kind of models. So if I ask question from you, who are the responsible for the quality? If you are working with waterfall testing process, then your answer will be QA team. Even you are working with Agile, that answer will be the same. QA team is the responsible for the quality. But we can see that totally different answer in shift left testing. They said everyone. It means whole team should be the responsible for the quality of the product. So when we talk about performance testing, who is performing testing in waterfall, normally testing analyst, and implementing agile, they include automation engineers also there. But we can see in shift left testing, manual testers replaced from developers, then the developers and testing experts doing performing testing in shift left testing. So when we consider about QA skills, so waterfall testing, they think in domain expertise is must. So let's say I am the testing a banking application, then I should be a banker. So they think if I have some kind of basic technology skills, it's okay for testing with waterfall. But it changing when we consider with agile, they think automation expertise also should be with tester, and there should be some familiarity with coding concept too. But in shift left testing, they think understand business, understand user stories, and code software architecture, and testers should be able to read codes and familiar with the development environment and tools. Then only they can do their job very well. So that kind of QA skills they are expecting in shift left testing. So when we talk about testing types in waterfall, they are normally doing black box testing and end-to-end functional testing. So it means they are testing as a external customer, so they don't need to worry about what are the languages, what are the infrastructure. So they don't need to worry about the internal structure of the software. They just need to click buttons and enter some values, blah blah things they are doing. And implementing agile also, they think black box testing is must, and they are considered about user stories also should be tested. But we can see in shift left testing, they are totally focusing on white box testing is the major thing we have to do before doing black box testing. So, and also unit testing. So many, in the each and every projects team in our company, they are doing unit testing for their features. So in shift left testing, they are focusing unit testing too, while they consider about testing types. So when talk about organizational structure, so in waterfall method, QA department totally separated department from the other departments. It means they haven't idea what they are developing until developers give that release to the QA team. They just read requirement and they prepare in test cases, and they are waiting to give that release from developers to QA. But in implementing agile, we can see both manual and automation engineers under QA department. So it gained little bit advantage than when we consider about waterfall testing. But you can see shift left testing, QA department is embedded to the research and development teams. It means whole team, they are doing testing, they are doing reviewing requirements. So all the things they are doing within get together. So but something we can see with the similarity between agile and shift left testing, because lot of things they are little bit simple, but shift left some kind of advanced than agile. But both parties, both processes are nicely we can fit with agile. Between shift left testing we can fit it with agile, because agile also involving to some small code increments, and shift left also try to deploy small code increments. So both parties try to do small code increments. So that's why we can say shift left testing also kind of agile. So we can see test driven development and behavior driven development also good approaches we can use for shift left testing. So next slide I am going to describe what is test driven development and behavioral driven development. So what is test driven development? So I think you all know what is test driven development. So this is simple idea we can get yeah. So you can see after adding some feature, we add a test and execute that test. If it is fail, we have to do some refactor. So after refactoring, again it test and execute. So this is the repeatedly happen. So this is we call as test driven development. So in here we can see refactoring happen. So refactoring is the best thing than patches of the code. So next is we're going to describe about behavior driven development. So I think you all know what is normally some of projects that they are using 80-20 rule. So I think you all know what is 80-20 rule. Okay, let's say if test scenarios may have 100 test cases, but 20 test cases are the most important while doing testing. It means there are only 20 test cases we can cover whole actual business scenarios with this project. So then we can decide with talk with each team and what we are going to test and we are going to cover by testing and what we can neglect. So this is not a extractive way, but this is some thing we are doing with shift left testing too within behavior driven development. So I think now we have idea about what is shift left testing and what are the importance of shift left testing. So as I mentioned earlier, find bugs early of the software development cycle and reduce the cost of solving bugs by detecting them early, and we can gain more higher quality product because fewer patches are there, and we can hand over to the customer within on time. So within shift left testing we can maintain higher quality code base. So those things we can add as a one thing, so we can gain more competitive advantage than other companies. So competitive advantage means so we have competitive advantage if we are using shift left testing, because if we are going to deliver on time, if our product has free bugs, some of bugs when compared with the waterfall project using. So these things we can gain as a benefits and competitive advantage than other testing models. So now I think we have idea what is shift left testing. So now it's a question how to implement to our project. So we have to implement our project before that we have to do some transition. What kind of transition we have to do? So let's say if a manual tester, so normally a lot of people are working as manual testers. So as a manual tester, we need to explore our unexpected scenarios. It means, so you have to, so I'm the manual tester. So I always need to improve my programming knowledge too, because I need to take some courses and I need to learn Java and I need to learn Git. So all the things, all the different aspects of programming, I need to improve, because that will help to work within the organization. Otherwise, we are not stable with anymore in this industry. So as a tester, as a manual tester, we always need to adapt with new technology. So that's why we need, I call as it is a transition of the tester. So second person, we can say developers. So normally developers only think they are thinking about coding, but they didn't think about quality of the product. So, but in developers also need to think about quality of the product, and they need to improve their automation knowledge. It means if he develops some code, then he have to do some automation unit testing. Uh, so that's then only he can guarantee this code is perfect. So this is okay for going to the production. So developer also improve, transit their quality to the product. And last one, and it is a major important role of the company. So they call as test engineers. So they have to improve their test automation knowledge. So it means what are the it means they have to improve their automation engineers. So we can say big transitions are there. So as a he need to improve the developer practices too. So shift into the code-based automation with familiar, and how to build with CI/CD pipelines, and how to configure it and how to maintain it, and learn into programming languages like Java and like environment, so Git. So all the things they have to improve if we want to transit to the shift left testing. So as a manual tester, now this is the time we have to adapt with shift left testing. So otherwise we are not stable with this industry anymore. So then what we can do? So we can learn and take courses, tutorials as a manual tester. So we can see we can a part of transition. So first thing, to build basic Java projects with IntelliJ, and just need to go Google search and IntelliJ idea tutorials download, and we can run this step by tutorial. So don't expect to be a Java developer but within few minutes, but we can get some kind of knowledge before entering into the automation level. So in future, if you want to be a active participation of the software development circle, so you have to be a automation engineer. So that's why I said always need to improve. Always we have to shift our mindset to the automation engineer. So these are the things what I want to say today. So I already discussed about what is shift left testing, what is the importance of shift left testing, and what is the advantages we can gain with the shift left testing, and what are the difference between shift and waterfall, and how to transit, and which areas we need to change, which areas need to shift. So those things I already discussed. So if you have any question related to shift left testing, so now it's the time you can ask.
You can use the chat window to ask some questions from Priyani. Priyani, seems there are no questions.
Priyani, I have one question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
As you see, what are the limitation of this concept shift left system? That means what are the barriers and what are the things you can't do with this system?
Actually, I also do some research according to that shift left testing. What are the drawbacks that we can cover? But actually, when we talk about with other testing models, this is the best way we can reduce all the barriers within our testing. So I think uh, within the within few times sometimes we are not able to do proper testing where we are not, sometimes we misunderstand the requirements, so those things maybe happen. But when we compare with other testing tools, so I think this is the best thing. So we haven't seen lot of drawbacks same as other testing tools.
But Priyani, we can shift our testing to the left, but
Yes.
there's a certain point we can't shift more left from that point, right? That means, as example, if I say we can develop a test script, right?
Yes.
So before certain point, but we can't execute the test script earlier because you have to have a working application to execute.
So yes, I means we are doing testing in coding phases. So if we found some issues with coding phases, it will be easy to fix as soon as possible than testing with deployment after integration. So that's why we talk about it will be nice to have.
To add some points here, Nishant, like let's say if you are developing a module or something, so we don't need to wait until we integrate it with several functionality or several components. So think about we are implementing a service in a microarchitecture environment. So we can write service test to up that service and see whether it's service working fine, and we can drill down the log files and see whether everything works fine, and we can include some monitoring aspect as well in the service test itself before it integrated with many services. So for your questions, shift left is kind of we are writing test before the development start to understand all the branches on all the functionalities, all the conditions works fine. Like we do in unit testing, we do it in shift left testing as well in order to measure the quality of the code we are writing. So it easily identify the vulnerabilities, easily identify the leakage, memory leakage, the thread usages and everything. Right. So before the module development, service development, we can do some requirement walkthroughs. Like we have a checklist to identify whether it's fulfill all the customer requirements and customer the system analysis and those stuff. That we can be do like manual stuff like do an inspection or walkthroughs. So later part we can increase the coding abilities and the programming ability to solidify the code base. Did I answer your question, Nishant?
Yeah, that's.
And Priyani, do you have any examples with you to, I mean, to explain further because to understand more clearly?
Actually, I'm not ready for doing some examples, so sorry.
Okay.
I have questions regarding this shift left testing method. Can we use this for non-functional testing, like security, performance, or any other usability testing?
Actually, mainly target is shift left testing is functional testing. And non-functional too we can cover, because if we are doing requirement gathering phase, we can get idea what are we doing with we have to do testing. So if we are ready for doing testing with earlier with requirement gathering, so it also we can cover.
Okay.
Some kind of non-functional testing we can cover, not only all the load testing, but kind of performance testing, but some kind of non-functional testing we can cover with shift left testing.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, Priyani, one question I'm thinking of. So how can we, like, let's say we are trying to start this kind of method in our practical like scenario. So they are actually in, let's say in our case, we don't, in some sprints, we are having new new requirements. In some sprints, we are having some bug fixes, and that kind of things are there in normal life in our sprint. So how can we focus this specific method of testing on like implementing in our practical like sprints? So is there any mechanism to like implement it? So do you have any kind of thought
experience?
how can
In my team, so normally we are having some bug fixes too within sprint, but we have some discussion about next sprint releases and next sprint features. So then me, product owner, and all the team members involved discuss, and we are ready for next sprint things. So then I think we already covered fixing bugs with current sprint, and also we are ready for next sprint things. So this is the way we are now practicing. So then the next sprint, after starting next sprint, so we already know what are the requirements we have to cover with this sprint. So lot of bugs we can resolve within the discussion with before the starting sprint.
yeah.
Priyani, we have a question in the chat, if you can take a look.
I feel that is shift left testing need to more involvement of developer that other methods. That it's need to more involve.
More than other methods.
Yeah. Developer is the most important character while we are doing moving to the shift left testing. Yes. If any question.